From humble beginnings to growth and evolving. And the arrival. This is First GenXers.
Poetic beats. All that pomp and circumstance just to not be heard. That's right, mute buttons, folks. They work. Let's see. I am the one and only Dark Lord 100, aka Double KK Double. The man to the left of me is Rune Scryer, and the man below both of us is the one and only Agent K28, aka the Saint. We make up the Cheap Pop Podcast, and we want to say hello and how y'all doing out there today.
What's good, Planet Earth? What's good with it? Y'all already know what time it is, man. Let's go. Let's jump into this shit.
Definitely. We got a lot to cover.
Oh yeah, a lot to cover, not enough time, never enough time. All right, so here we go, guys. Dave was talking to us about some things offline that I thought would be amazing for him to bring up now. So going ahead and kick us off, Dave. What you want to talk about?
Okay. So, two things related into Geek Space because they both have the same problem. First off, Helldivers 2 is taking a nosedive straight into the ground. Okay. Sony is forcing um, adaptation of PlayStation Network. You have to log into the PlayStation Network in order to play Helldivers 2. Whether you're playing it off your PlayStation or whether you're playing it off Steam. So that's kind of ticked a lot of the player base off. But the cream on this total shit sandwich for Sony is that Steam just delisted Helldivers 2 in over 150 countries because those countries cannot have access to PlayStation Network for whatever reason. So the game's basically useless for the players in those countries. And, it's mostly a lot of smaller countries, but still, this is a big thing.
I would say yes.
And yeah, I mean, do you guys agree with me on this?
I mean, absolutely. Let's just play spade to spade. Gamers now, things always at the drop at the moment of a hat. You know what I'm saying? And just It just happens. Shit happens in this industry.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just about as bad as
You're saying it ain't right,
dropping
but
an
it's okay,
album. Yeah,
huh?
yeah, something like that. Dropping an album, but
I'm not
the
saying it's
album is not that
right.
good, and then you get delisted tomorrow. Like,
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
the fuck?
Yeah, but this isn't uh, delisting for any quality issues. This is due to complete corporate stupidity.
Yeah. I would agree. Or corporate greed that doesn't realize that the other option would give it more money. Like
Yeah,
I was speaking with Rune Scryer offline, and my personal take on it was just that as somebody who was a business major, I have a BS in business. I'm going back for my MBA in business. Um, I've never understood the concept of restricting people from being able to use or play your product.
right.
I've never understood
And
that. Okay,
yeah,
we were talking about console exclusivity as well, and it was just blowing my mind that companies in any way would want to restrict how many people could consume their product. But
right.
it seems to them at the time that it's a better business proposition, but in the long run, like with this PlayStation 4 thing, yeah, for people like Saint, me that have PlayStation and we've had PlayStation Network for years, it's no big deal. All right, yeah, we already got
Right.
one. But for somebody who's poor, they're barely affording their PlayStation, and now,
So,
or not PlayStation, but they're barely affording playing on their computer, and they got to buy into this PlayStation Network for 17, 15, 12.99 a month just to
mhm.
play this one game.
Yep.
Like that's where it's like it's wrong.
Yeah, and it's it may seem like, oh, you know, $10 a month, that's not really a big deal. Well, like Kev said, that's a big deal for for a lot of people. And it's a big deal for Sony because if you are talking about a game that has, a million plus, I mean, back in the days of MMOs with monthly pricing in order to play, you know, 1990, $20 a month to play World of Warcraft, it adds up when you've got the, 11 million player base. I mean, that's, on average, about 200 plus $1 million every single month, which is what gave Activision Blizzard the cash infusion that it need that it has. Um, and so that's what Sony's wanting to get. They want to get that recurring $10 a month because a lot of people who are on it, we don't think about it. It's just because we're fortunate enough to where we don't, $10 is the level where it doesn't trip any alarms when we're checking our bank statements in there. Um, and plus, it's the more insidious part of it is that it's that many more data points that they can sell to advertisers, getting all
Yeah,
the
yeah.
information off of PlayStation Network profiles, your age range, your preference for games, your region, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, down the line. That's the thing now is,
Well, I mean, well, let me just
yeah,
interject
yeah,
some. I mean, we do that. We're doing that with games now anyway. I mean, at that point, I'm just gonna say this. You know, in the this is live service game. Okay, this is a live service game, and everybody that was supposed to be getting into this was supposed to be have an alternative for Call of Duty. Okay, to avoid all of the craziness, and all the toxicity as far as I'm concerned with this, because I love Helldivers. I don't have to deal with
yep,
a bunch of, craziness, as opposed to, where I was getting Call of Duty. Because I'm gonna tell you, the last Call of Duty game I bought was the Modern Warfare 2. And I was like, okay, because me and Steve was getting down with it, and we would have that cross play, with the Xbox and doing that. But it's like the third one, it just got a little crazy. And I like those kind of games. I mean, don't get me wrong, like combat, guns, shoot them, and then of course that's the spiritual successor to Starship Troopers. Hell yeah, man! Boom, take my money
Mm,
because the peace of mind that I have with that, man. What? Yeah,
yep,
I'll take it.
exactly.
I
I
because
totally
I got
understand.
the game because I got the game 2 days after launch. And
Yeah,
I was like, yeah. I was thinking, but then I seen the trailer, and yeah, yeah.
yep.
It's where
So
it for me. It's the peace of mind.
yeah, I totally understand you. I know the terror of the random pug, the pickup group. So yeah, but on to another area of geek space with the same core problem, aka degrees in charge of multi-billion-dollar corporations who are being penny wise and pound foolish, as the saying goes. Yeah, I'll count the cents, but I could be making more money if I'm not counting the cents. So, Hasbro, makers of 80s childhood nostalgia and also Dungeons and Dragons, announced that they are committing $1 billion, $1 billion. Yeah, okay. To developing Dungeons and Dragons as a video game, movie, TV series, multimedia thing, which, yeah, go ahead.
I was
Okay,
just gonna say
now,
now that would take me back to this. The Dungeons and Dragons movie, the one with Chris, was it Chris?
Chris
Chris
Pine, yeah,
Pine.
yeah,
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 the
yeah,
Star Trek
yeah.
guy, James Kirk. Um, he, the the one with him, it made me excited for another movie. Like I thought it was well
right,
done,
yeah,
but I don't know if it
um,
made me excited for a whole Dungeons and Dragons universe.
right.
Like,
And
go on.
it did respectably. I got Box Office Mojo up right now. The page $208 million worldwide. I mean, that's nothing to slouch out for a completely neutral movie coming out in the market that doesn't have franchise backing. Um, but the problem is that Dungeons and Dragons, Wizards of the Coast, aka Hasbro, because Hasbro owns Wizards of the Coast, and which is how they have Dungeons and Dragons. That entire IP, for the folks that don't know it, has easily as much story material already written in the 50 years of this game, from adventures, from campaign settings, from novels. It's got as much material to do this stuff with as Marvel did back in 2011.
Okay.
They have probably a couple dozen, if not 100 novels in their catalog that were on the best-selling New York Times best-selling list.
Right.
Okay, they have three of the most beloved in fantasy RPG properties, especially Dungeons and Dragons. They've got the Dragonlance series. They've got the novels of Drizzt, the Dark Elf, and they've got the Forgotten Realms. They're not developing any of these in either in really any meaningful way. Certainly not like what they were doing back in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah, because I was gonna ask, what does that sounds a little familiar
Yeah,
from some of the D&D lore from back about maybe 30 or 40 years back.
right. And the only reason why I can say, and just from what I've seen over the past couple of years, where Wizards have put out books and adventures that do tie into some of these properties in there, but they don't really tell the people who created them. Like, for example, Spelljammer, okay? Sh Fantasy ships flying in space, okay? Fantastic setting, one of my favorite settings. But when they did the fifth edition version of Spelljammer, they didn't tell the guy that created this, a very well-known, well-respected game design journeyman named Jeff Grubb.
Uh-huh.
They didn't tell
I
him.
know that name.
Yeah, he had to learn from social media when the announcement came out a month ahead of the release. They didn't tell him. They didn't tell Margaret Weiss and Tracy Hickman that they were doing fifth edition Dragonlance conversion campaign book. None of this. They don't get the stars involved, the people involved. It's like, imagine having a Marvel, convention or a Marvel release back in, the 60s and not inviting Jack Kirby or Stan Lee.
Yeah, that should not
You
be
know,
allowed.
Yeah.
this is
That would be the insult of the insults.
exactly, exactly. And the fan base sees it.
Mm.
And so again, you've got all this material that your automatic fan base, your people like me who have been in this hobby for close to 50 years, we have been wanting a Dragonlance live action series.
Yeah.
We want to see Drizzt on the big screen. We want to see stories set in the Forgotten Realms as like a limited edition TV series. I mean, hell, the good guy group in the Forgotten Realms, the Harpers, that would make a fantastic animated series along, Clone Wars level.
I remember
It's
the old Dungeons and Dragons cartoon, like from the
yeah,
'80s when I was a kid. Like I do
right,
remember the.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
it's it's one of those type of things where it's like you said, they understand what they have, but they don't really understand
right.
what they have.
Well, more than that, Hasbro and every division that it has, it's set up for short-term instant profit to appease the shareholders.
Yeah,
It's not set up for long-term development.
and that is
Okay,
part of the problem for sure.
right, or line development.
Right.
Okay, take a look. GI Joe, Transformers, Star Wars.
Yeah.
Okay, three surefire franchises, and yet the only stuff coming out on those lines are nostalgia, are variants, are all these limited edition fear of missing out fans must buy. There's
Right.
no expansion. Like, I mean, you guys remember when GI Joe came out? You had the original, the 3.5, 3.25 inch figures.
Yeah.
You had the limited number of Joes. You had the two Cobra soldiers. You got Cobra Commander if you send in the UPC symbols. Um, and then it kept expanding every iteration, every series. It kept expanding, new characters, and they still had some revamps. I mean, we ended up with what, 5 different versions of Snake Eyes by the time that the 3.25 ended, but it still expanded into bigger and bigger territories. And Hasbro's not set up for that anymore. If it doesn't already exist, they're not interested because they don't want to take the risk, and they're missing out.
Yeah.
I don't need to have five different versions of Optimus Prime. You know,
No, I don't. I don't. The first was fine. Like
right?
we could have just
You
stuck
know,
with that.
right? Exactly, and you can still buy the original through Takara and through Takara licensees and other stuff like that. You know, I don't need or want Megatron as a tank. I don't need I don't need. I mean, okay. And full disclosure, last week I did say that hell yes, the automatic transforming Optimus Prime and Megatron are fucking awesome
Yeah.
because they fight, they throw hands with each other.
I need
You
that.
know, I need that in my life. Yeah, but you don't need. Okay, we've got Generation One Skyfire, we've got movie Skyfire, we've got Studio Series Skyfire. We've got it's basically the
Yeah.
same figure. It's the same,
Character, but
Skyfire.
18 different
Same, but just
variations.
exactly some
Yeah, no,
smoother
you know
than
what? I got
other.
a question. I got a question. When did Megatron go from a pistol or a gun to being a fucking tank?
When
When the
people
hell did
started
that
hating the
I
happen?
NRA.
well, no. Also there
Just
were
saying.
okay. I'm also just saying. I am very aware that there's a difference between a kids of certain backgrounds running around with a toy that looks like a Walther P-38 and playing, cops and robbers with it, and people closer to me
Yes, money
playing
penny.
with,
Once I get to know me.
yeah, playing playing with Megatron in gun form with actual cops,
Yeah.
and they're going, "Oh, you shot me!" All that's and they're playing along. You know,
I I actually owned the with the silencer, the whole
I got
shebang.
that. I still got mine.
And yeah, I would my mother never let me leave the house with it. That
I
was an
totally
inside toy. Looked a little
yes,
too real. You know, the
yeah,
original Megatrons that came out, they had the metal, like
right,
it was
and
a little too real.
yeah,
So that
Shit,
and
we
that that
had the
one never
pop
saw the
caps.
outside of my house.
yeah,
We had the pop guns. What you talking about, bro?
and even and what's going to burn you even more is that the little oval slot on top of Megatron when he's in gun form,
Mm,
on top of the housing.
yeah.
You ever wonder what that's for?
Uh-uh.
The original Japanese Megatron gun from Takara Toys,
Uh-uh.
they had rubber soft pellets that you loaded in through that top slot.
Pop, pop,
You
pop.
pull the trigger and it shoots.
Oh, that would have been all bad.
Yeah,
Oh, that would have
it
been
would
all
have been.
bad.
It definitely was. Yeah,
Uh,
but yeah, but to get back to your original question, when did Megatron become a tank? I think it was Transformers movie '86 when you had Megatron turned into Galvatron.
yeah,
That's right.
yeah. I
That's
can
right.
agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
Yeah,
but
okay.
yeah,
You know what?
so
That just made me think about that. I really want to fucking watch that movie. I'm gonna, you know what? I
86.
am
Oh
going
yeah.
to invest into watching that movie sometime next over the course of the week. And then I want to kind of discuss that because man, Transformers, this new Transformers movie is coming out soon too.
I know
So it's
I'm
The
like,
looking
new
at the
the new crossover movie.
yeah, no,
oh
no,
yeah,
no, no. We
no
talked
no
about the animated.
Oh, the
This is
Transformers
another
one.
like
Transformers one.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
yeah.
Transformer
yeah,
one. Yeah,
with
before
before how Optimus Prime and Megatron got their groove back.
no,
Right.
actually, from what I understand, is the origin
Yeah,
of
it's
Optimus Prime.
Yeah.
it's the origin of Optimus Prime and Megatron, how they went from basically brothers to arch enemies. Um, Orion Pax becoming Optimus Prime. I can't remember Megatron's pre-ascension name, but yeah. Um, and
Nice.
I watched it, and it's like, not for me, and I moved on. You know,
Well, here's the thing about it. I just wanted to say this. Saint brought up what is it? The '86 movie. And
yeah.
I'm sorry. I don't. I'm not saying I've seen every animated movie out there because I have not. I have not come close to seeing every animated movie out there. But that open, that song,
Oh,
unmatched,
and
unmatched.
yeah,
Anytime I
Kev,
hear that hook, it
yeah,
sends chills up and down my spine. Like just yeah, yeah.
and Kev, you know who the Cybertronic Spree is? They're a cosplay band. They're all dressed up as various Autobots and
Uh,
Decepticons, and they play music. They just did a cover of the Transformers '86 theme song
gotta find it. Gotta
in
find it.
costume. You know, it's on YouTube. Yeah.
All right. Like that. That's
So,
just that's like I
but
said.
yeah.
That song.
hmm
Yeah.
And but like I said, it all gets down to the people who ultimately make these decisions as to what to do, what to develop, all these financial decisions. They only think of short term, satisfy the stockholders. That's it.
Exactly.
They don't think about developing anything, which really gets into something that Disney was doing right when they acquired Marvel and Lucasfilm, in that they had positioned themselves back to the original Walt Disney, Roy Disney dynamic, which was Walt's creator. He comes up with a vision, he arranges for the artistic stuff. Roy is the businessman. He doesn't tell Walt how to create. Walt doesn't tell Roy how to get money. Roy's job is to make sure that Walt has enough money to make it. And that's what Disney was doing under Bob Iger. Okay. Bob Iger was not there to tell Kevin Feige what to create. He let Kevin be Kevin and create it. And that turned out well.
Yep.
He was also not there to tell Kathleen Kennedy what to do with Star Wars and Indiana Jones. That did not turn out so well. And I say,
Disaster.
and I say this as somebody.
Disaster.
I'm okay with the sequels. I'm okay with them.
No, 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 no,
Yeah.
bro. Look,
Here we go.
yeah, because see, this is my thing. I'm cool. Okay, as a kid, you have to understand this, and I mean, I kind of wanted it as a little kid, like back in 1983 when I went to go see Return of the Jedi.
hmm
Okay, before it was called Revenge of the Jedi,
Yeah.
but I think they had kind of changed over. But
Yeah. They
neither
changed it.
here, neither here nor there.
Oh,
To me, The Empire
go-
Strikes Back to me is always going to be the best fucking Star Wars movie. I don't give a damn what anybody says
Well,
because
okay,
that
but here's the
movie
thing.
had
Can I say something real
conflict.
quick, Dave?
yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
think we have to get out of this mindset that somehow giving credit to the current movies somehow takes away from the legacy of the previous movies.
Bam.
Were the last three movies, was Rise of Skywalker and all that, was it the best Star Wars movie ever? No, I don't even
No.
think they're close to top 10. But
Oh, that's a
they were
negative,
Star
sir.
Wars movies. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And so I think sometimes when we're comparing, we have to get away from thinking that saying that these are good movies somehow takes away from the legacy. And I think we started getting caught up in that with the original prequel, with the
Right.
first three movies, that somehow
Yeah.
we thought by acknowledging that those were decent movies, it somehow took away from the original's legacy. Go
Kev,
on,
were
Dave.
you with
Exactly.
us?
And that's the point. But see, that's the point I'm trying to make because look, the original trilogy, the 1977, 1980, 1983 movie, to me, the Empire Strikes Back to me, and a lot of people will tell you that is probably the best movie of the series because like I said, there was major, it was like
Mm-hmm.
nobody won
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
in that movie. Nobody won.
Right.
Right.
Like it was like, damn, that was probably one of the most fucked up endings
Yeah.
in a game. With the frozen carbonite, like Han
Yeah.
Solo, man. Like when I was a kid, man, I cried with that, bro. That
So
that man, that because that's the dude.
yeah. Yeah.
That's Han Solo, like space pimp. But
Yeah. But two things.
but but
Go on, Dave.
but I
Go ahead.
mean,
Go.
but in seriousness though, my thing with the last three Star Wars movies, like I like the fact that Harrison Ford came back. You know what I'm saying? To come back to complete his journey as Han Solo, because everybody already knew that, hey, if you're gonna get in this one, you're gonna have to kill me. And I
Yep.
mean, that's basically what it was. But his ending, I didn't like that.
Yep.
Han
But
Solo's ending,
yeah,
nah,
yeah,
that was a little cringy.
yeah.
No, actually,
Uh,
that was cringy as fuck. And even Leia's ending, even though she had
yeah.
passed,
Yeah.
come on, man,
Yep.
come on.
So
Let's keep it a buck.
so first thing, Kev,
Yeah.
were you with us at Jack London to see Phantom Menace when it came out?
Yeah, we sat in the same
Well,
theater.
Yeah,
yeah.
I was gonna say I want to
So
say that was my third time seeing it that day, but
yeah, it was
yes,
my
Shit,
I'm there.
Kevin was about to do his movie review. Remember
Yeah,
that, Kevin?
I'm there in line for Phantom Menace, totally excited, all jazzed up to see it. I got these guys, we got other guys. We're in Jack London Square in Oakland, seeing it. We all file in, get our seats. We're all sitting there, and it's like, the sound comes on. I'm like, I'm 5 years old again, all ready to go. I'm reading the crawl and everything. Okay, cool. Oh wow, Jedi powers. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Then Jar Jar Binks comes on,
Yeah.
and I'm looking, I'm looking all around the theater. I notice I have a severe lack of melanin, and I am the only one in the theater.
Jack London is
And
right next to me.
I turn over to our boy Jamil, and I say, "I'm going to get lynched, aren't I?" Yup.
Oh, Misa thinks you should leave early. Nah.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, no, because you know what though, there were some people that day that
yeah.
actually got up 10 minutes before
Oh
leaving
yeah.
the theater, and
Yep.
you know we're downtown Oakland, and you know how we
Oh
get
yeah.
down. So
Yep.
like,
Yep.
yeah, because that was bro, that was the insult of all insults. Like,
Exactly.
I
And that
wanted to
was
fight people after that shit.
okay. Now, and second point, getting back to Return of the Jedi with all the changes, where it was originally Revenge of the Jedi, and Luke is like, oh no, Revenge isn't Jedi path. Return changed it.
Yeah,
There
yeah.
was a major script change at the end. Okay, got the final battle, got the Death Star, Wedge and Lando flying the X-wing and the Falcon into the center of Death Star 2 to destroy it, racing out, um, and everybody's on there. Death Star blows up as Lando's trying to get out. Death Star blows up. He doesn't make it, and Han's just looking up there, and he sees the Death Star blow up, and he's like, Lando,
My dude.
yeah, they were going to kill him off at Return of the Jedi.
Oh,
Like that would have
so
been some, yeah.
that would have been some fuckery.
Yeah, that would have been some
Exactly.
straight fuckery.
All right.
Yeah.
Hold on quick. I quickly want to give a shout out. I want to go ahead and give a shout out to LV True 107 in the building, as well as Roxy Heart 82.
Hey,
Hello.
hey.
What's
Hello.
up?
What's
What's
going
up?
on?
Thanks for
All
joining
right.
us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but back to the bullshit.
Yeah.
That would have been I think I would have had to throw the 1983 me would have had to run up with a knife and cut the screen at the festival cinemas, because that's where in Hayward,
Yeah.
right there on Hesperian.
Oh yeah, I remember.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, many a movies
yeah,
there.
black people would have been upset by that.
Oh
I
yeah.
want to tell you.
I,
Side note,
That
nothing to do with what we're talking
you
about.
don't
Hold
kill Billy D. Williams on screen.
on.
you don't
That was our
kill.
hero, man.
You don't kill.
You
You
do
don't
not
kill the
kill.
only black person in the galaxy.
Exactly.
You don't turn
Exactly.
him into the last guy.
Look.
I I will tell this one story
Exactly.
real quick,
Yeah.
and it's along the same lines. I don't know if you guys have ever seen the movie. It's called Basic. John Travolta, Samuel L.
Yeah,
Jackson,
yeah, yeah.
forget
Oh
dude
yeah,
from
yeah.
Wings,
Yeah.
like several like future stars and current stars.
Mm.
There's a behind. If you ever buy the DVD, there's a behind the scenes clip with the producers where they talk about the process of getting Samuel L. Jackson. Right. So if you've seen the movie, you know that the big twist that happens in the movie. Spoiler alert if you haven't. But the big twist that happens in the movie is that you find out at the end of the movie you've thought this whole movie that Samuel L. Jackson's character was dead. He only appears in like flashbacks through the whole movie. Then the big twist at the end is you find out he's not dead. Well, guess what, folks? That was not the original ending of the movie. The producer tells the story about how when they finally secured Sam, they sent him the script. Sam liked it, so on and so forth. Sam's agent calls them and says, "We need to sit down and have dinner." They say, "Okay, sure, whatever. Let's close the deal with Sam Jackson." They get him there, producer, the writer, and they look him dead in the eye and they say, "Look, you can't kill Samuel L. Jackson. You can't kill the most righteous man in America. They will burn down the theaters." So the producers went back with the ending that you see, the final ending that made the cut, and rewrote the movie backwards so that they wouldn't have to kill Samuel L. Jackson's character in order to get him to be in the movie. That's just how
He's
important the damn man was in Hollywood.
he, he's he's done his time getting be the token sacrifice.
Yep.
You know, he's put in those credits.
And so yeah, it was just a funny story that you guys were making me think of when they were talking about
Yeah,
killing Billy D. Williams. It's
but
like,
it's
nah,
yeah,
you don't
it's
kill the Colt 45 guy.
so,
He
but
is too important
yeah,
to the community.
but again, circling back to the original point, uh, money people are not creative people. They don't really deserve to be influencing development
For sure.
in there.
True.
Just,
I
you
I
know,
I agree. I agree.
stop trying to maximize your profits and just be happy that you have something that's a success you can build off of. Stop trying to, stop trying to make your investment all back.
Right. All in one shot.
You
Yeah,
know,
because you're not gonna
your
get every
development.
penny.
Yeah,
You're
a
not gonna
lot of
get
times
every
you'll get,
penny.
yeah, a lot of times you'll get it back if it's success. It may not be what you are hoping it to be. That's the thing that I find most egregious is it underperformed.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and there's times when things will underperform. It's like this should have made more money than it should have.
Right.
But having that feeling like we didn't make as much money as we were planning on with this project, you still made a profit, man.
Yeah.
You still made more money than most people are going to see in their lifetimes with this.
Mhm. That's pretty much the second half of the MCU,
Yeah.
not
Yeah,
making a lot of money.
Well, okay.
right.
And actually, I'm glad you brought up the MCU because I was going to say that. I was going to say that. If you look at Iron Man, the original Captain America, and the original Thor, you
Mm.
can see, and what I'm going to say is more of a feeling than it is an actual like thing. And what I mean by that is this: you can see that they cared more about the quality of the movie than they cared about how much money they were going to make. They
Mhm.
cared about John Favreau cared about making a good Iron Man movie. He didn't care about making something that everybody's going to like and that they're going to make billions of dollars off. It ended up being that, but
Yeah,
that you can tell by the way the movie was written, by the way things were shot, that he cared.
yeah,
I think I agree
exactly.
with people when they talk about the MCU now that the directors that they're using don't seem to have as much investment in
Right.
the IPs that they're working with than they
I,
did when they were first dealing with people in
right.
in the first part of the MCU.
Yeah. And no offense to Chloe Zhao.
Yeah,
Okay. Fantastic director. Absolutely great. But it didn't feel like she had the connection with Eternals
hmm
that just a couple months before. um, Daniel Creighton had with Shang-Chi.
Yeah.
He had that Asian connection, and I
Well,
screwed up on the name, I know. And there wasn't the same connection they had a few years earlier with Ryan Coogler and Black
Black Panther.
Panther. You could tell just
Well,
how important it all was to him to get it
yeah, well,
right.
I mean, well, you got to remember too, though, man, because I remember when me and Kevin went to go see the original Black Panther,
Hmm.
and like when the opening credits and Oakland, California popped up. I
Yeah,
mean, it was a large ass pop in that theater,
it
man.
wasn't. I mean, I shouted in my theater too, even though it was, not in Oakland or any urban center, shall I say politely. But we still had a good packed house. But yeah, I was like, Oakland represent.
Yep. Well, and I'm glad that you guys brought up those movies specifically because
Right.
I've said this multiple times. The one thing that I genuinely feel that the MCU has done well consistently through all four phases are culture specific movies or culture specific characters. Black Panther, Shang-Chi, most recently Echo. Like, they're
Mhm.
very good with that. I don't know why, but it's a lot of the other movies and the sequels where stuff has started to fall off. But the
Right.
culture, Ms. Marvel was another one that was very culture specific and it was very well done, very
Right.
respectful to the culture. And I don't know why they get those movies right and don't get other movies right as well. But I feel like those in particular seem to be home runs for them consistently.
Well,
And go
well,
for it.
can I
Yeah.
interject? I will tell you why. I will tell you why. Because Ryan Coogler was, he's connected to Oakland.
Right.
So, and on top of that, let's just face it. When you start fucking up, when you fuck up on a project, when you fuck up on a project, you don't get that you don't get that audience back. I don't care how well the sequel is or whatever. You just lost some of your audience.
Right.
And the thing about it is that people looked at that movie with a fine tooth
Oh
comb.
yeah.
Because when we say, oh, you want to say Oakland? Wait a minute. Hold on. Hold on. We want to see, well, yeah, yeah. We want to make sure the hood is right. We want to make sure that y'all, yeah,
No,
Yep.
one hundred
yeah.
I,
percent.
The only thing I didn't get a kick out of was they landing the tower that they had,
hmm
where his where Killmonger's kid or the
Yeah.
kid was living at.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, that was kind of fake because man, I don't see tall buildings like that like in the projects in Oakland.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We didn't have that, and not like on Seventh. And I think that was on Seventh Street,
Yeah.
and those weren't really that tall.
Yeah. And I
So
didn't I didn't think it was
yeah,
that tall just
yeah,
from what I saw. I thought it was maybe like about 7 stories at most.
yeah. So
It's
yeah,
definitely
that
not New
was,
York architecture, but
but they did leave the Tribune
hmm
building in
yep.
the background. They leave the Tribune in the background, and that was okay with me. I want to go ahead and give a shout out to the one and only Miss Lovely Radio Show, the one and only Miss Toy. How you doing? How you doing? How you
What up,
doing?
Miss
Hey,
Toy?
hey, how you doing? Yeah.
All right.
But getting back to Kevin's point of how Marvel gets the um the ethnic diversity angle right, I think that's because it gets to Kevin Feige having the freedom to assemble the teams that he wants to,
As far as director
as far as
to
director, as
Director,
far
yeah.
as stars, as far as all that stuff.
yeah,
And I don't always agree with him. Um, it's come out this past week that he literally straight up told Hugh Jackman, just look, walk away from Wolverine, please,
yeah,
walk away from
I agree with
Wolverine.
that.
And I understand why, but That's like commanding Sean Connery to walk away from Bond.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just
Well,
Go ahead.
yeah, well, no, I was gonna say because I know when, well, the stories, because I don't know exactly when, but I know that when Connery walked away from it, I mean, he was pretty much like done with that.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
he was
Oh
done with
yeah,
it. And he had already had what, 6 movies under the belt, but
something
then
like
he
that.
came back after the seventh one. It was like
Yeah.
Diamonds Are Forever after Lazenby.
No, no,
Yeah,
yeah, last meet. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. He did that one last one before switching over to Roger Moore and then didn't come back until Warner Brothers. It's a split that I knew once upon a time, but I need to recheck it. But it was a rights split that gave Warner Brothers the rights to do Thunderball, and they remade Thunderball as Never Say Never Again. And they got Connery back for that one. So, um, yeah, but and it's very much like uh, I know we were talking about the chicken and the egg problem of creativity last week, where you want to have diverse characters, but you've got the problem that you don't have diverse creators because
Right.
the industry is. And, it took, Ta-Nehisi Coates, it took Reggie Hudlin, it took Christopher Priest, it took Dennis Cohen,
Yeah.
took Dwayne McDuffie to turn Black Panther and Luke Cage
Into,
from
yeah.
stereotypes into fully fleshed people.
Yeah.
And you need to have that where you're able to get people that have that cultural connection to where they want to make sure they get it right because it's getting them right as well. That's why it's so important to them.
All right.
now
And
there's a
go
I
ahead.
just have another quick question. um I just saw a report, and I don't know if this is rumor or not, but from what I'm understanding, Wesley Snipes is supposed to be stepping back into the role
That
of the
is,
MCU.
yeah, that is a rumor. We don't know. Blade with
Marshall
Marsha
Ali,
Ali.
yeah.
Yeah, I know. I always butcher the name, and I always feel terrible about it because I try to make sure that I get the names correct.
Shit, I don't even get the right name right,
But
and that's Jamil's cousin.
yeah,
So
but it's been a troubled production. Um, they've had to deal with writers, directors, and Masheria has put years of his career on hold to do this.
Yeah.
right,
And
That's
it's
that.
just like, is this coming together or not in there?
Yeah.
And there's rumors that he's about to exit the project. Um, and one of the things is at the end of Eternal, he's already voiced Blade.
Yep.
At the end of Eternal, when Dane is looking at the ebony sword,
Yep.
he hears that voice. That's Blade talking to him. So Mahershala Ali is already in it. And I
yeah,
think that as great as Werewolf by Night was, they needed Blade in there,
yeah,
especially because the production issues were going on. They need to get the character involved. That's the perfect in for Blade to be introduced in there and builds up hype for the movie. It's a
right,
proof of concept, appearance. Not that he really needed it, but it would have been better to get that character in the MCU as quickly as possible, just to relieve some of the pressure on the set, I think, and
okay,
give a bit of cushion for the executive producers to get things straightened out, get the ship back sailing again. And it
right,
also lets Masheria get into the character, get that footing when going after such an iconic role
right.
in there. I mean, again,
Fellas, I
yeah,
hate I hate to do this, but we're at almost an hour already. So
Yeah, I know.
we're
I
going to
know.
have
Damn.
to wrap this up and
It's
take
all
our
stream of
commercial break.
consciousness. Yep.
Yeah,
Uh,
we'll get that, but hold on. But ladies and gentlemen, this is it. This is the halfway point, and I want to go ahead once again. I want to go ahead and give the shout outs because we have LV True 107 tapping in from Oklahoma.
what's
Lawton,
up?
thank you.
Hey,
All
hey.
right, and we also have Roxy Hart 82 tapping in from Connecticut. Thank you. And of course, the lovely, lovely, lovely Miss Toy tapping in from wherever she's tapping in, but it's in the West. We don't reveal shit like that. That keeps secrets. But nevertheless, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to take a nice little commercial break. And what's next? Dark Lord 100. Let's
Well,
go.
after that, we're going to come back with a little bit of SmackDown Alley. You know, there was this small little pay per view that took place in Lyon, France this weekend called
I'm
Backlash.
so excited. I'm
And
so
then we're going to
excited.
close out as usual with our game reviews and, well, game talk and game reviews. So
Yeah.
thank you for joining
Yeah.
us. We're from Rune Scryer, Agent K28, and myself, Dark Lord 100. We'll see y'all on the other side. Peace.
You got to keep it, keep it. You got to keep it lovely. You got to keep it, keep it. You got to keep it lovely. Success comes right after the struggle. I ain't even giving up on whatever I wanted. The tragedies I've seen, I can't even stomach. Most of y'all weak as shit and would've started running. Every time I make it back to the crib, I'm thankful the Most High let me see all of it. Grateful I'm lovely, and I'm being real with this. Please don't judge me. I'ma stay on my shit. I'ma keep it.
Poetic beats. This is now versus then. 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 This is now versus then.
You getting on my nerves. You getting on my nerves. Gang, gang, bitch. You getting on my nerves. Gang, gang, bitch. You getting on my nerves. Get your titty, get your titty, get your titty on. Gang, gang, bitch. Get your titty, get your titty, get your titty on. I said what I said. No, please don't tell on me. No, please don't tell the police. Gang, gang, you getting on my nerves. She getting on my nerves.
Orton's. That's good.
But all right, we are back, y'all. What's up? What's up? We're talking some business there, trying to keep that
Yeah.
offline,
Yeah.
offline. All right, so
Politicking.
now we're going to get into SmackDown Alley with Cheap Pop Podcast, where this week we are going to discuss Backlash. Um, it was a five, count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 match event. Each match was given about 20 minutes, which is beautiful. Here's the thing about it. I thought this was one of the more exciting pay-per-views without actually being like one of the bigger pay-per-views. A lot of good things happen here.
France.
Yeah, France. Oh,
No.
let me start out by saying this. Shout out to that crowd. That was the hottest crowd that I have seen at a wrestling event, period, since like the
Absolutely.
late 90s. They were going
Absolutely.
all night, nonstop. Hold on one second. Go on, say, give some of your opinions there.
Bro, they were singing Randy Orton's theme word by fucking word. Okay. That shit was like, man, it was like,
Oh yeah.
they were hyped. And I know he had to be like,
Oh, you
God
saw him. You
damn.
saw him stop and appreciate it.
He
He was just
stopped and he appreciated the entire thing.
They did the same thing on
Yeah.
Friday night on SmackDown. When Randy
Yeah.
Orton came out for the RKO show, they sung every word of his friggin' whatchamacallit line for line.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was beautiful.
Cody Rhodes, same thing too. Like,
Yep.
and singing it with the crowd. And I hate to say it, but y'all here in we love y'all in America, but when you guys start doing shit like that in other countries and you respect it, man, that was some deep ass respect. I was like, I was really thrown back by that whole different and it was a different energy.
Yeah.
It was a
100%.
completely different energy. Yeah,
And so
let
let's talk about it like this. We'll talk about it just like we did last week with SmackDown. We'll talk about moments. It opened
Okay.
with a moment that a lot of people didn't see coming. I know I didn't. When the Bloodline beat Randy Orton and KO, but they beat them. Why? Because of the debut of, what is this man's name? What was it? Tonga Loa, who
yeah.
is the brother of Tama Tonga. They were known as the God Tag Team in New Japan. 7-time tag team champions. And now they are both members of the Bloodline. For those of you who don't know, they actually are brothers, just like the Usos, and they are the sons of Haku from the Wild Samoans. And so, yes, they are members
But
of the NOI family. So
yeah,
this
but
is the bloodline growing with actual family members.
yeah, but you know that he was also, I think one of them was 2014. It was another tag team. I can't think of it, but the one that was riding the bike.
Yeah, he was Camacho.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Camacho,
he was
yeah.
Camacho back in the day. He used to come out with Sin Cara. They were homies, yeah. But I guess he's not really Mexican. Just like Yokozuna is not really Japanese. For those of you who don't know, maybe this is a shocker to you now, but Yokozuna is actually a member of the Inouye family. He's
Exactly.
Samoan. He's Samoan.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, so it's beautiful to watch what's happening. It's obvious that they're setting up for a Bloodline Civil War type match, and I can't wait to see it. But seeing more, I thought it. Here's what's funny: when they first showed him on camera, I was like, oh yeah, it's Jacob Fatu, because I had heard that he had recently signed with WWE.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was looking at him, I'm like, no, that's not. And then they started calling him Tangaloa, and I was like, okay, maybe that's just his new name in whatchamacallit. And then I looked it up, I'm like, no, This dude is actually Tonga. He is actually uh, Tama Tonga's brother. I was like, okay, let's go. I can't wait to see them two face off against the Usos, brothers versus brothers. Let's do it.
And I think that's and you know what, and I can call it, because we kind of called this one. We kind of called this one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
It was
I
obvious that
guess
they were
what
setting up for a new member of the
yeah.
bloodline to come out.
Yeah, we just didn't know. We just didn't know if Cody's story was going to end, but
Right.
I think that it was necessary. So I'll say this: next WrestleMania, and it's going to have to be. It'll be Bloodline versus Bloodline. OG Bloodline. This is
Well, I don't even
new
think they're gonna wait till
versus.
WrestleMania. They're not gonna wait. This is gonna be SummerSlam or even sooner. Like they're not gonna wait till because okay, this match is gonna take place within a couple of months of Roman coming back. Because and they're talking about Roman's due back somewhere around SummerSlam. So I'm thinking we're gonna get one on one Solo versus Roman, and then at Survivor Series we're gonna get 5 on 5, and then by the time we're gonna get like a War Games match with Bloodline OG versus the New Blood, and then we're gonna get and then next year at WrestleMania we're gonna get
Rock versus Roman.
yeah, yeah, because I think the New Blood ironically is gonna be led by The Rock. Or yeah, yeah, I think that's how it's gonna go down. But the next match after that was the match that I was torn. It was a triple threat match. You had Bailey versus Naomi versus Tiffany Stratton. Call me a
Tiffy
racist all you
time.
want. The only person I didn't want to win was the white girl. Uh, no offense to Tiffany Stratton. I will say this. She gives me very much, what was her name from, she was with Velvet Sky in TNA. But she gives me her vibes. But anyway, uh, I wanted either Naomi or Bailey to win this. Bailey ended up winning and retaining, but yeah. Your thoughts on it?
You know what? Listen. Okay, don't. Yeah, we didn't want Tiffany Stratton to win, but I'll tell you this much: championship is gonna be. She's gonna get the belt. She's gonna get the belt.
Yeah.
They getting ready to drive her. I'm thinking they fixing to drive her up, bro.
Yeah,
I
you got it.
honestly believe, like when Lacey Evans, because I was calling that on Lacey Evans, but then I didn't expect Lacey Evans to fall like
Yeah.
she did. But Tiffy, yeah, I think she's gonna be a part of that new blood that's just part of that, just that, you
Yeah.
know, just that, you know what I mean.
Yeah. No,
She
100%.
yeah, she's
And
just part of
and
that new machine.
yes. For anybody saying, "Well, Bailey's white." No, she's not. She's
No,
Mexican.
she's not.
Sorry.
and person and personally, we kind of in a sense kind of know her. So it's
Yeah.
like Kevin. As a matter of fact, Kevin is the. I think Kevin, you've actually met her, right?
No,
Or
it
was it
was
just
not me.
Cole?
It was Cole, my former co-host for the Raw Impact Unleashed. Yeah, he actually met her face to face when she used to wrestle for APW and Big Time Wrestling as well. She was big. She was big out in the Bay Area before she became big in WWE. That's why we always throw that support. When they say she's from San Jose, she's really from San Jose. Um, all right, so after that we had some people liked it, some people didn't. I didn't quite like the finish, but I'm happy with the result. That was Damian Priest versus Jay Uso one on one. Well, what should have been one on one for the World Heavyweight Championship. And
Yeah.
Priest retained after help from JD McDonough and Finn Balor.
Yeah, the Judgment Day, it's almost finished.
Yeah.
It's almost
I
finished.
wouldn't say almost finished. I don't think they'll finish the Judgment Day until after Mommy gets back. Like, so we're looking a few months down the road before Judgment Day is
Yeah,
done. Because I don't think,
yeah.
I think she's going to be critical to them splitting up and calling it a day. So I think we'll see a lot of rumblings and maybe almost splits,
Mhm.
but I don't think we'll see the actual split till she
Yeah.
gets back.
And look, no cap, but and no clowning, but Mysterio, what the fuck are you wearing, sir? You got a lot of dirt over your lips, sir. You look like, man, I'm telling you, he looks like it. I can't think of who he looks like, but it's somewhere in between Warner Brothers and a bad Scooby Doo cartoon, but I can't
uh,
figure it out. I can't figure it out yet.
don't talk that way about Dom.
No, dude, he looks ridiculous.
I do. I do.
He,
Hey,
he,
you
he,
know what
he
it is? Is they're trying to groom him to look like Eddie Guerrero. Like that's the whole punchline to it. Is they're trying to groom him to look like Eddie Guerrero, and they're just failing miserably. Um, well, I'll say the next match is the match that Saint was truly excited for, and that was
the
the one and
Kabuki
only the
Warriors.
Storm, the stormiest. I don't know what they're calling themselves now, but they are whatever they're calling themselves. They are the women's tag team champions. Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill beat the
The
Kabuki Warriors for the
stormiest,
belts at
right?
Backlash, officially
Okay,
ending. Officially ending Damage Control's
damage
reign over
control.
the female division.
I think it's going to be officially, it's going to be over for damage control too. I'm telling you, it's a lot of these, it's a lot of these I think that are actually going to go away. But I will say this, that match was exciting.
Mhm.
It was spectacular. Bianca Belair showed up and showed the fuck out. And Jade Cargill, well, boy. Oh shit. Okay. Back to the because man, I'm telling you, she makes me sweat, bro. Like
Uh-huh.
I just looking at her, like I know brothers right now that just want to watch pay-per-views just so they can.
Uh-uh.
Jade
Well,
Cargill is really beautiful, but she is she's doing a little something. I mean,
yeah.
she's
No,
still
she's
a
doing
little
something
bit, she's
special.
still a little green. Still a little green with the moves and all that, but yeah,
Oh yeah, she's doing something special
she's fucking
for sure.
spectacular, bro.
And I think we have a lot more of her to come. As far as Damage Control, bro, I'll quote Paul Heyman. I think we're barely in the third inning of Damage Control. I think what we're going to see now is Damage Control. It's kind of like with Judgment Day. Judgment Day started out with Edge at the helm, and then
Hmm.
Edge left Judgment Day, and well, Judgment Day has been Judgment Day ever since, and they've been around for about 2 years. I think we're seeing something similar with Damage Control. Bailey is now being kicked out the group, but Bailey takes the championships with her. Now Damage Control goes to Raw, and they go wreck some shop in that division. But we'll see what happens. But this match, I agree with you. Definitely showcased Jade Cargill. Was definitely a match that allowed us to be able to see her growth, and I think in a few years we'll see her raising the belt at WrestleMania, like probably against Bianca Belair. They seem to work well together. Um,
Right?
so I'm gonna say this: this next match was an actual wrestling match that people claim never happens in WWE. AJ Styles versus Cody Rhodes gave us some beautiful moments, gave us a beautiful story, and gave us an amazing match. So yeah, like I'm tired of people saying that pro wrestling never actually takes place in WWE. It's only sports entertainment. No,
Listen,
Cody Rhodes and AJ Styles gave
that
us a pro wrestling
that
match.
that was some listen, that right there was some of the best on wrestling. Like it was like going blow for blow. It was like every move and everything was was stacked up. Crossroads, the phenomenal, the phenomenal elbow, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, or the forearm. It's just that shit was the stuff of legends. And it was a well fought battle.
Yep, and Cody
Okay.
retained.
It was a
It
well
was beautiful.
and Cody definitely. took care of business.
Oh yeah.
Took care of
Yeah.
business.
It wrapped up a great pay per view. I still want to read the transcript of what the crowd was singing every time that somebody said the word phenomenal or AJ Styles was like alone in the ring. There was some song that was French that they were singing away, and I didn't
Yeah.
understand what it was. But hey, I was there for it because man, they were a live ass crowd all night long. So, all right. So that's gonna close us out there for SmackDown Alley.
Yes, sir.
Next up will be it's time again for the cheap pop game reviews. Dave, since your voice has been resting for the past 20 minutes, we will allow you to go first, sir. And what
Well,
is it that you are bringing to us today?
well, I do not have anything to review. I do have a few things I'm going to be talking about for upcoming. First of all, and uh, Dark Lord, I know you're going to be interested in this, um, is that while I'm waiting for Suikoden 1 and 2 remaster to arrive, turns out the spiritual successor, Ayuden 100 Heroes, by Capcom, same general principle based on the Chinese 100 hero folklore, the 100 stars, uh, JRPG, created by the same guy who created Suikoden.
Oh,
Um, it is currently available for free on Xbox Game Pass.
really? That's what
What?
I mean?
Yes. So I'm going to be giving that a try tonight on the night shift since I finished off Space Marine last night.
Nice.
Um,
Okay.
but yeah, so I'm going to give that a whirl tonight. Give that
What
a
was the
try
name of
to
that
see
one
how it
again?
goes.
Yeah.
Ayuden, Eiyuden
All right.
Okay.
Chronicles.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, so we're basically getting a whole nother Suikoden game going.
Nice.
So yeah. So yeah, but um, the remaster was supposed to be out this month. It's not. Still no word from Konami about when it's coming. But we got this to tide us over. So
Has Square Enix said anything about when that sequel to the Rebirth is coming out?
I don't know.
I
I
haven't
have
heard
not
any.
heard.
Like I thought they announced like an actual time frame for when it would be out, and it was supposed to be out early 2024, but I haven't heard anything about it release.
Yeah, I'll investigate, but I've heard that Square is having a few issues recently. Um, so I need to find out more about that. I
Okay.
have like no idea. Just stuff I've heard.
For sure.
Uh,
Wow.
but the other news is starting this week, specifically on Tuesday, I'm going to be adding a couple hours on the afternoon to the Twitch stream. I am going to be doing solo play in my favorite online RPG, City of Heroes.
Nice.
So
Yeah.
free to play. I'll
About
be
fucking time, Dave.
I'll
About
be
fucking time, sir.
I'll be taking folks from just a basic but rush character creation. I'm not going to spend an hour making the costume again. I've got a whole list of pre-made costumes to
Nice.
pop on to my character. So,
Uh,
because yeah, that is very deep creation. I will show it off at some point in time, but not when it's going to be. Um, but yeah, so I'll be adventuring around in Paragon City, showing folks what is up with that. This is a free game for computers. Um, that was created 20 years ago. Uh, Lasted many years, good 8 years. Was shut down, and then through the blood, sweat, and tears of the fan community, it's back. It's completely free to play, free to download. You don't have to have the current, top of the line graphics specs or processor speed. You can play this on a computer that's, 10 years old at this
Nice.
point. As long as you can dial up to the internet, it's all
Sweet.
good. But I'll be showing you, there's been changes that have made for folks who have enjoyed City of Heroes when it started.
I might have to get on that now because
Yeah.
I remember that game a long time ago,
Oh yeah,
man. This was back in like the 90s. No, not necessarily 90s. It was in the early, I think it was the early 2000s. It was the
2004
early
is when
2000s, right? Yeah.
2004 is when
So
City of Heroes came out.
yeah, well, because I remember another game that was like that, but it was dealing with superheroes, but the um the
Then
shit was a little bit ridiculous.
you right.
So
So what happened was, um, City of Heroes was created by Cryptic Studios and published by NC Soft out of Korea. Cryptic Studios, um, at one point, split. In that Cryptic went on with Atari, switched over to Atari, and they created Champions Online, which was based off of the Champions tabletop role playing game of superheroes.
Okay.
Um, but I agree that I didn't. I mean, I love Champions, one of my favorite tabletop games, but the cell shading art on it
that's right. It was
was
Champions.
it was terrible. They had great ideas, just really art in there. It just wasn't a style that clicked with me. And
Sure.
then DC Warner Brothers tried to do DC Universe Online, which is still going. Uh,
I currently play that.
yeah,
It was
it's
just updated for the PS5, and yes, I still
it's
get down with DC Universe Online,
yeah,
especially after they bought the Dakotaverse.
yeah.
Of
It's
course.
just too limited in options of creations and other things. But you'll see how. I mean, if you played City of Heroes before, you know how you had to wait until you're like 14th level in order to get your travel power, whether it be flying or super speed or super jumping or teleportation. You're now getting your travel power at fourth. So
Yeah,
literally, like within the first 30 minutes of the game, you're able to fly around.
I'm 20. Yeah, man, I'm with it. I'm
But
with it.
yeah, I don't know if you ever went into Pocket D, the nightclub that they had.
Mm-mm.
So there's a zone called Pocket D. It's basically a dance club that eventually linked both the hero and villain sides of the servers. So everyone can just go in, mingle, chill, not fight or anything unless it's in specific arenas. But dance music, electronica. Uh, there was a live 365 radio station dedicated to providing a radio soundtrack to City of Heroes while you played. So yeah,
Okay.
the community is diminished but unbroken. I am proud to say. So it'll be great to see that, and that's going to be starting up Tuesday, 2 p.m. Pacific to 4.
Okay. Okay. That's what's up, man. I'm there for it, man. And because I remember, like I said, I remember that game, and I'm trying to really get
Yeah,
back into PC gaming. Eventually, I will, get it together when it comes to Twitch. But I'm
yeah,
kind of happy with my consoles, and
yeah,
hopefully I can get Twitch on the Steam Deck
yeah,
because I would love to. If I could do that, oh my goodness, that that
yeah.
that will be
And I'm still proceeding. I've finally got some more parts to. I'm trying to get my second monitor to hook up to my computer. My computer, I thought it had two HDMI ports. Turns out it has one HDMI port and one display port.
Okay.
Display port being basically HDMI, but a little bit different.
Okay.
So,
All right.
and the second monitor that I have, it's a DVI input. So I've had to try to figure out how to get the connection up, and I think I've got that now. So, another week, we'll see if I can get that and the video capture card, all working, so that I can be streaming Nintendo Switch gameplay,
Nice.
Yeah, because
which will
yeah,
be,
yeah.
yep, mostly Pokemon. I
Gotta catch
am
them all,
not
huh?
too. I am still trying to catch them all,
All
and
right.
despite every single game gives you the opportunity to complete the Pokedex. So, but yeah, but I do have the Pokemon Home, which is the cloud storage system.
Yeah.
So you can upload your Pokemon up to the cloud storage system.
Use them
It's
anywhere.
just with like 900 that they're, yeah, that's what they're up to now, like close to around 1,000. Uh, Keeping them arranged by number, and it's not it's a Pokemon Home is great storage
Yeah.
system. It just has a really horrendous UI and sorting system. There's no way I can just automatically sort them by national number.
All
And
right.
what's worse is that apparently with Pokemon, there's two sets of numbers.
Mhm.
There's what's called the national Pokedex number, which is everything from um, red and blue up to scarlet and violet in order.
Uh,
The, their numbers. So Bulbasaur is literally 001 out of 1,000 at this point. But there's
That's
also
about as bad. That's about as bad as Kev with these damn Yu-Gi-Oh decks, but I'm loving every minute of that shit.
but
uh,
there's also the individual numbering for each game.
oh my God.
So each region, so game generation. So like Scarlet Violet takes place in what's called the Paldea region. So Paldea 001 is not Bulbasaur, it's something different. So I'm just trying to,
Wow.
it's, yeah, it fully engages the OCD part of the ADHD brains.
Yeah, I can see that. I can definitely see that.
Okay.
All right, so we're gonna go ahead and pass it on to Saint, and let's see the game he wants to cover, which is go.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, as many of you guys know that I am heavily into games about stealth. You have Assassin's Creed, okay? That's one of my favorites, but the all-time mega mother of the stealth games, stealth action, of course, is Metal Gear. And I am taking a look at the Metal Gear collection as it was released a few months ago. I will tell you this, that I have the entire Metal Gear collection in my arsenal from the original MS to the Konami games that they did in the United States. You have Metal Gear 1, 2, two Solid Snake. You have Metal Gear Solid. You have Metal Gear Solid 2, and then of course you have the mother of them all, Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater, which to me is still the best damn story in the whole collection. Never mind the fact, no, never mind the fact that they went on ahead, they threw the original ones in, and I'm loving it every single minute of it. And I'm actually going to be streaming this on I'm going to start at the very beginning, but I'm going to actually do it in I'm not going to do it in sequential order cuz that that's going to that's going to suck. So I'm actually going to start probably with Snake Eater, or maybe I get the first ones out the way just because it happens. But these collections mean a lot to me, and especially in the manner that some of these games, you had to wait for. You had to be separate with all of these, with all of these different games. So to get it in one collection is excellent. I already have the fifth one, and then the fourth one, unfortunately, because we're still waiting to see if we're going to get a volume two. I just got my hands on Metal Gear Solid 4, the Guns of the Patriots, and it's just that I want to be able to have it all in just one whole place. All of these great games, because anything after that Metal Gear survived, that was bullshit. I hope you guys realize that if you bought that game, boy, you got bamboozled for real. You really got bamboozled. But stealth action is great. The storylines are great, even with the old school 8-bit games, because those are some of the good storylines.
Yeah,
The stealth action at its best. And I promise you, you guys definitely have to take a look at it. And especially if you're old school like me, an old school player like me, just know that
yes,
it's
sir,
all good. Just
for
know
sure.
it's all good. And that's pretty much about it. Nothing, no, we're not going to be talking about no actual gameplay. It's just about how we feel about the games and what we see, and especially with games that get remastered.
Yeah,
So it's like, it's just a good feeling to play these kind of games and to, live in the moment.
for
And
sure,
I'm with it.
for sure.
Yeah.
Now, and I agree with Saint about like this is more about how I feel about this game than is an actual review. Um, the game I chose to speak about this week is a game that I've been playing on Saturday nights recently. I was playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Legend of the Duelist, Link Evolution. And that game I'm still playing. Don't get it twisted. I bought that game. I'm still playing it. I want to collect all the cards on it. But I have to buy them chunk by chunk. So I have to keep playing through the storyline and all that fun stuff. So, but I'm not going to be doing that on Twitch anymore. Recently, I've picked up the game by the name of Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel. It was recommended to me by Soto HP1, I believe, or Soto 1 HP, one of our followers here, and I have to say thank you. It's actually a really damn good game. I'm still understanding, which is why I'm playing through the solo like practice stuff. I'm still understanding like how you do certain things with certain cards and stuff like that. But all the decks are there. The presentation is really what I wanted to talk about because to me the presentation is beautiful. Like it's just straight amazing. They have this presentation in the practice rounds on this like concrete type gaming field, and like when you attack people, like when their cards attack the other card, they actually get up and wow, and then the other card shatters, and then when you actually hit the person, the life points directly, big explosions happen, and they make a big deal about it when it's the final blow, and like it just makes it adds a little more of the element of competitiveness and fun and all that that you got when watching the Yu-Gi-Oh cartoon. You know, like
Activate that trap card.
pretty much like it's true. Like here's the thing about it. I don't know how many of you actually remember the original Yu-Gi-Oh game that came out for the original Xbox like long ago. The actual one that it was the card game, but in a video game
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
had all the cards, and it was fun to play to collect them. but it was like graphically, it really didn't engage me. And I felt the same thing with Legacy of the Duelist. It was a great game. All the cards were there, all the moves were there, all the fun stuff was there, but it just lacked engagement visually. This game does not fall short in that area. The even when you're like when you're polymerization, when you're bonding characters and doing all of that, it's all beautiful to look at and it's fun to watch. If you want to check it out, I'll be playing tonight, or I played last night. You can check out the stream I did. Play for about 45 minutes last night after playing some Final Fantasy VIII, which was off the hook. I don't think we're anywhere near the end of that game, but I lost to the sorceress this week, and I'm gonna be back to beat that bee's butt next week. uh, but
I gotta tell you, man. Look, I've been looking at the and I'm really excited about a lot of the Yu-Gi-Oh matches because I was like, because like my sons, were younger and they used to watch the Yu-Gi-Oh cartoon on Fox Kids, so it's like it was just that thing, kind of going on with Pokemon, and then you had Digimon, and then it's like all these other ones, but then Yu-Gi-Oh is just like you got this weird character with his hair, like, and they just drop these cards, and the animation just be like, "Shh, I activate this, I activate this monster with this person. Oh, and then it's like, gotcha, bitch, trap card. Oh, you just did this to this person, to that person, and guess what? You just lost 2,100 points. Bye, bitch. Like, man, and I was watching Dark Lord, watching some of his matches the previous couple of weeks, and I'm like, man, what the fuck are you doing? Like, and I'm trying to like really get a good study of it because I might have to start fucking around with that game because that shit is crazy. And I am not really a big, well, I did play Magic the Gathering. Don't front. I'm not gonna front because I did it for like I played that game for 5 years. I played it for 5 years.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah. Mm.
Bro, hey, look, bro, no, no, I was gonna say, man, fuck doing Saturday nights, man. Hit one of them during the week. I'll tap in on that shit. Seriously. Man. bro, and then go up against on other on because you know what, and ladies and gentlemen, I'm not really big on playing against other people on online because like if you have, and I'm not gonna say I have the greatest skills on the deck, but it's like it's like I refuse to play certain games because when people get cocky and they talk a lot of shit like with these cards and stuff like that and decks and all that other kind of stuff, it's like you kind of don't want to do that because you kind of want to humble yourself and be like,
It's
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
It,
100%.
yeah, because you
it,
guys got to remember Gen X gamers, and the reason why we call this channel First Gen Xers, we are the first generation of gaming, and and please know that we game so hard. Like you have to remember, we only had 3 lives.
Yeah.
We were busting for high
We
scores.
paved the way for this online shit.
yep.
Yeah,
Like to be honest with you, we
and
were the beta test. We were the guinea pigs.
yeah,
There's two
yeah.
games that will absolutely destroy your familial relationships. It's Monopoly
Yep.
and it's Uno.
Uno,
Oh,
yes. Oh yes.
and you know, and I play. Listen, I play, and I go hard to paint on PS, on a PlayStation. Anybody ever want to come see me? I play Uno. I play Uno Flip. I play all the decks,
Right.
all the decks, and
Yeah.
and I will play you very nicely. But the minute you start talking out the side of your
Yep.
neck like this, you fuck around and find out
Yep.
Exactly.
with the way
Yep.
we
Pay in
game.
full, but pay
I
in full.
Us, us Gen Xers, and us younger and Xennials,
Yeah.
those born between 1977 and
Goonies. We're called
1982.
Goonies.
Yeah.
yeah. My nephew and niece learned the hard way how I play Monopoly. Where
Oh,
I
I
had
took no mercy on my
oh yeah,
kids.
yeah, no, no, no.
Oh no,
Okay.
my kids talk. Listen, my kids talk big shit. They never like
Yeah.
my kids. Like I'll put in my kids are gamers. All three of
Yep.
my kids are gamers, and I promise you this: I will disrespect you real
My
hard
my
if
daughter
No,
you
was
if
my
you
cool, but I
fuck with me.
roasted her anyway.
Yeah,
Go
my
ahead.
like my son. I made my listen. I have been playing Street Fighter for 37 years. My son talked more shit
uh,
than radio. Do you understand? And the
I
fact is, I put him on punishment. He made me a bet. He
mhm.
made me a bet. Yeah, Dad, I'm gonna beat you. I'm gonna beat you. Okay, motherfucker. Okay, okay. And
Yeah.
guess what? He beat me in 1 round, and I gave him a chance 2 out of 3. Are you sure? Yeah. Okay. Okay. He beat me 1 round.
Yeah.
He got 1 hit the next time, and he got no hits the following match. And I was like, just going upstairs to your room.
Yep.
Peace out. Peace
My
out.
my
Yeah.
my my niece, 8 years old, my nephew, 12 years old. We're playing. I got Baltic and Mediterranean building up to there. I have Park Place. My niece has Boardwalk. I tell her, you know what? If you sell Boardwalk to me, I will give you, you will never be charged rent on Park Place and Boardwalk for the rest of the game.
Ha!
And she's like,
My man out here making deals.
okay, yeah. I took that, I built it up. She's going around, she lands on another one of my monopolies. I asked for rent, and she says, you said I don't have to pay rent on anything. No, I said you don't have to pay rent on Boardwalk and Park Place.
Uh-huh. That ain't
Everything
boardwalk no
else
more.
Dave,
is fair game.
Dave,
And my nephew,
you are a dirty motherfucker. You are dirty.
Oh man.
That's cold, dude.
Hey
yep,
That's
man, look.
cold. But
all's
that's just
fair. All's fair in board games. I'm sorry.
Exactly.
Like
no, no.
I've taught my daughter that lesson many a times. I've taught my daughter that playing chess.
Yeah.
All's fair in board games. Period. Like we are on a competitive field here. I am no
Yep.
longer your father. I am your opposition. So I
I'm
expect you
doing
to
this.
treat me as such because I am going to treat you as such.
I do this out of love to make you a stronger person.
I know that's what my dad told me when he was kicking my ass at chess.
No, 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 bro. No, no, no. I'm gonna tell you the secret though. When my kid when I had to play against my sons, I would get the most the I would have park play. I mean not park boardwalk, and then it would be the cheapest one on the corner, Baltic.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's the corner.
yeah, you get that. You get that. Oh, bro, and all I had to do was make my money from there. I made my money. No, those two properties
Hmm.
and either the utilities or the
Railroads.
or the railroads.
Yeah,
I'll take that. You can you could take all of that,
yeah.
bruh.
Well, guys,
I made
Yeah.
the money.
we can continue talking about how we destroyed our families, children, and nephews and nieces in future episodes. I think for now we're going to go on ahead and wrap it up. Thank everybody who joined us. Shout outs to Lovely Radio, LVT, LV True 107.
Squad up.
Yep.
Mhm.
Our Roxy Heart 82, all who joined us and chimed in the chat room. You can catch the audio version of this podcast once again on our
Oh.
live 365 station.
Yeah, there is one other person. We have a new follower today,
Okay.
and I want to go ahead and welcome Lord Striker 7. Um, that's what I see that he or she just chimed in, and definitely we appreciate for joining us. Thank you.
We do.
For sure.
Yeah.
You can find the replay on Tuesday afternoon at 12:45 on our live 365 station. You can catch replays of all of our podcasts from here on the live 365 station, as well as old episodes of our Four Aces Present shows. So, from myself, Dark Lord 100, the guy to my left, Rune Scryer, and the guy below me, Agent K28, we say to y'all, keep playing, man. Because shit, we've been at it 40 years and ain't stopping anytime soon.
Oh,
We'll see y'all next
oh,
week.
and one more thing, ladies and gentlemen, coming up 8 p.m. or 8:30 p.m. Eastern time is MVT Deuce. So
Yes.
just make sure y'all slide through and take it to the next vibe.
I'm sure Saint still isn't done talking about Kendrick and Drake. He's gonna be
Yeah,
on
we're
that
we're,
for a
we're
while,
yeah
for a hot minute.
we are going to be talking about that tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Just briefly.
For sure. And then you can catch me on the next video game stream at 8 o'clock with a little FC24 for some
Pacific
soccer
time,
and
y'all.
some-
Pacific time.
Pacific time, yes.
Pacific time,
Yes,
and
11
then
p.m. Eastern.
then midnight. It's
FC24 and NHL Hockey 24. So,
right.
go on, Dave.
Then midnight till whenever I fall asleep. That's me on the night shift. And like I said, I'm going to be diving into Yuden Chronicles 100 Heroes
There you go.
on my
Okay.
Xbox. So,
All right. So, that's it
Okay.
for us. We'll see y'all next week. We out.
Bet.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Peace, y'all.
Thank you.